I don't want to get sick before I go on vacation.
Okay, that's open.
Test, test.
Oh,
I didn't turn it on, but
okay. How you doing, Dave? I got it's a big one turned at 68, and these guys up here at 70. Man.
And my house, it's a constant 70. I'm that. My first mother-in-law, yeah, a couple of them ago, and she was one of these. You're cold, wherever you put more clothes, put another blanket. 54 was sure. That's too cold. That's too cold. Yeah. I got mine. Jesus.
One of these. Oh, it's got a broken stand. For some reason, the stand got one of the legs. I don't know how it happened or anything.
Man,
okay. We have a time constraint. When we can do this, the state outlines everything over a 2-month period. And one thing we're going to have to do in our board meeting is come up with a date for the public hearing for the budget. But between now and then, we have to go through and take a look at this. And as I said in the email earlier today, we should have another workshop meeting. Definitely in the next couple of weeks where we can sit and spend a little bit more time, but I'd like to get this started right now. And if there are questions, I can do further checking things out.
And I,
Definitely.
the
Yes, we do want to, I do want to go through the vouchers and stuff, but I do have some questions and I think we need to do some discussion on Water District 10. with information.
George?
Yep.
Is the workshop, which is on just the budget.
No, but that's, I'm just wondering if it would be better to discuss these in the workshop before we get
No,
into the meeting.
we'll save that for the meeting.
I think
I'm-
I'm sorry, but this is a town board workshop.
It is a town board workshop. I set the agenda, and the agenda is the budget, which I have to get taken care of prior to the state, because we have to have this all approved by the Thursday after the election. The election is
So
November 7th, which means by the 9th, this has to be approved and into the state.
this is it's called making more accurate, and there are things
We
that
don't ever have them. How many years you been on this board? We have not gotten a year end. Pull up whatever you want to.
So, as far as, we're gonna have to probably sit down, like you said, in another workshop and really kind of go through it. I think last year when we sat down and went through it line by line, I think we found a lot of things working together. You know, we looked at it separate and then
Yep.
came together and said, do we have questions, and going through it line by line. That took probably, I don't know, how long were we in there, people? Couple hours. So as far as, we're not gonna get it all done today, and it's gonna be, you know, we're gonna start it, we're gonna stop it, and personally, I got through maybe 25% of it. I mean, I wasn't home this weekend, and then we got swamped. So I'm not really prepared to go through it. We can, but I think it's kind of a waste. I was thinking.
Going through line by line, like you had said
Yeah.
before.
no,
No,
he's
That's
saying,
not a waste.
no, that's not what he
I
said.
mean,
was the way.
starting and stopping like we're planning on for months and getting into it. I'm not really prepared, so it's probably gonna end up going, you know, backwards. But I do
I
have
don't
some,
think it'll go backwards, but go ahead.
I do have some information though to share. And we also need to talk about the comprehensive and before the meeting. I think we should be discussing that. But that's my opinion.
Thank you.
I think that this, looking to save us time and looking to do. Well, man, and the other thing, first, I haven't got through the minutes yet, and I also, I have some questions that we need to go over for the development. Need to do that. Unless we want to do that in board too.
Why don't we just cancel the workshop altogether so you can get caught up, George?
Same workout.
No, you need to get caught up. You said you didn't get a chance to do this, that, and the next thing.
I didn't get my question answered.
No, because I said during the town board meeting. I said we can address those at the town board meeting. Don't screw your face up.
That's what you think so. But if you want to and take the time, that's fine.
Why? You just had a couple questions you said. That's going to take a lot of time?
Either probably will.
Well, I don't want to address those at this time, and I think if it has to do with Water District 10, as well as having to do, what was the other thing you were asking about?
Comprehensive.
Oh, yeah, the comprehensive plan. I think our town attorney should be sitting here at that time. And she'll be here for the 7 o'clock meeting.
Do you have something you'd like to share with us about that?
No, why? You feel like they should?
The way that you said that.
Yeah.
implied
No,
that
I think
Sure.
that is something that she's very much involved with. So I think she should be sitting here at that time. It's town business, is it
No.
not?
Yeah.
Okay.
John, I just pulled up last year's budget, and there is a line that is estimated 2022. So this has been something that has been included in the budget that I requested. I did not use the correct term. I was saying the year-to-date or what we project to use for this past year. And that is it's right here, it's the line that says estimated in last year's budget. So 2023 Town of Berry budget. And it's this line right here is what I am requesting be
We have a 2023 budget.
estimated, 2022 estimated, right here, which is what is projected for the town to have used, so that when we're comparing and looking at these numbers, we can make sure that we're doing a thorough job. When I'm making a request, it's not just to give you a hard time, it's because I really would like to be able to do a thorough job doing this information.
Okay. I don't know why Shelby didn't put it on. But I will I'm not gonna apologize for anything, Georgie.
Hey, Shawnee.
Thank you.
Can before we get too far in, can I ask if the YouTube is live?
Yes, it is. It's
Okay.
live right now.
One of the comments because I was watching the video from the zoning board meeting, and I went back and was also watching one of our town board meetings, and it is, in order to be able to hear, it is absolutely crucial that anyone who's talking, please talk directly into your mic. It's really bad. So if
Said
I just right, and you have, and I'm not saying that you haven't. I'm just saying as we get going, make sure the microphone's right in front of you, because that's really the only way that it comes in clear. And if anyone else is talking, Dale or Maureen or Bridget or any guest speakers or anything, if they're not, we got to try and remember to tell them to speak into the mic, because otherwise it's not worth having it recorded.
These are the mics that Joe recommended, right?
yes,
What's it? Got them.
they're directional. You have to be speaking directly at the mic. If you turn your head like this and talk, it doesn't pick you up as well.
Yeah.
You have to be right there speaking into the mic.
Okay.
If you take a look at the first page of the budget, which is the tax cap calculation, at this time, that doesn't mean that we're not going to be making some changes, obviously, when we go through this thoroughly. But the tax levy for the prior year for 2023, this year, was $1,200,520. We're projecting $1,223,093. Tax base growth factor went from 1.0001 to 1.0014. Prior year's pilots, there was nothing. Increased assessment, which wasn't really a large jump too much, other than, what is that, 13 1,000ths?
Is that just from the houses that were sold? Because there was not a reassessment this year because Stephanie was new. So
Right.
that was just from the houses that were sold. Is that accurate?
I do believe so, yes. Levy growth factor for 23 as well as for 24, we are set at 1.02. Projected pilots, we're not collecting on anything yet. Available carryover from the prior year, we carried over $100 last year. For 2024, we're projected carry over $1,000. So our tax cap for 2023 was $1,224,753. We came in at $1,223,093. So we were under the tax cap by $1,660. For 24 at this time, the projection The tax cap is $1,250,000, $1,250,301. Taxes therefore would be $1,232,283. And at this time, with the budget that we have in front of us, we are $18,018 under the tax cap.
That's not figuring anything for Water District 10 or moving forward that way.
No, yeah, Water District 10 isn't even included in this.
Because we don't know yet what's going on. with it, so-
Correct. Correct. And a lot of that, well, you got the debt service.
Well, that's right, yeah.
That's about it. The grant takes care of a chunk of that.
But we don't have to include that in the budget because it's not. Like, if we included that in, I remember a couple years ago when we did Water District 9, that debt service pushed us over the 2%. There was like something with Water District 9 and it changed their budget because of that aspect.
I don't know. I don't know. Wouldn't the Water District 9 go in? Doesn't that midsummer?
Yeah.
I think it was about midsummer. It was warm with those weekly meetings up there on the hill. Put that down. I mean, we don't have any numbers or anything else to work with at this time, so you can't really project that that might be. Okay. Any questions about that? Other than right now, I got about the estimated column. I will ask Shelby for that tomorrow morning. I will also ask if Water District 10 will affect the budget in any manner. If there's a big increases or little increases, what a percentage plus year to year. You see what buildings and look at part of those.
If she shares this as a Excel document to you, I can do those percentages pretty easily. To just add another column that shows the percentages from the 2023 tentative to the 2024 tentative. I also had a question of clarification, not on that second page that you just went through, but on the first page there. No, the one you just talked about was the tax cap calculations, the previous page.
Yeah.
So on this page, it showed the 2024 and 2023 townwide, and it showed the 2.97 for townwide and 2.99 from last year. And then it had the fire at 6.01 and 5.97. And if you look up at the top where it has the town expenses as the first line, and then the highway department as the second line, those tax rates, the 6.01 and the 5.97, I guess I just want clarification. I think that's actually, so I was reading across from fire, but that's like a separate column. The sample of the taxes is the townwide and the fire. And then the 2024 and 2023 townwide, that's just the, like the highway and the town accounts, and it doesn't include the water districts. Is that accurate? that was very confusing. You want me to, I don't know.
I think I think I know what you're talking. You're taking a look at the 24 and 23 tax rates, line A and line BA, which is the highway and the town.
Yes,
We go for that town, we went from 2.99 to 2.9724. Highway from 5.97 to 6.01. Then when you go down below, you were looking at the right hand or the left hand grouping.
the right hand grouping, because I think, because
Just over here.
I was kind of, yeah, so I was kind of the first time when I was looking at it, I followed the assessed value townwide and fire, and I followed that fire across, and I was like, so the townwide is only at 3% and the fire is at 6%. But then I was like, no, that's not accurate.
Right,
It's
it's
just
two
two
different-
separate areas.
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that
Yes.
that was accurate. And then the other thing is that so none of the water districts are included in the townwide because that's each individual area.
Right, it's completely separate.
And then the SF1, that's the fire district one, which is the entire town. And that rate is set by the fire district.
Correct, we have no say over that, although we do have, just so everybody knows, I think it's next week. Next Tuesday. Public hearing on the fire budget at the fire hall at 7 PM. It's tomorrow, or next Tuesday, the 17th. Next Tuesday, I think. So you see the jump there. And then, I think, it was just gonna be a 1 year. Another big jump. Supposedly it's because they have to buy all these new air packs. Don't know. It's how they handle their monies. We had what? Fire, yeah. I'm sorry? Yeah, instead of having during the regular. I know, I was thinking about what the time is. I was looking at about 6:30, which is in about 10 more minutes. Rick, why don't you come on up? Would you put that on mute for me, please? Phone.
This one?
Yes. And I. I just turned the microphones back on, unmute that right there. Go ahead, unmute that.
I feel comfortable. Especially.
We can't now. We can't, it doesn't fall underneath any of the categories for executive session.
Hiring.
Negotiation. Then that's negotiation. I don't have a problem with listening to it.
Oh, no, I mean, I wanted to try to, you don't mind talking, I just don't like the union either. I'd rather go to executive session and have it save everybody, but if you wanna take and talk openly, I just assume you have the mic set.
Well, Mike's on.
No, go ahead.
Do you mind if I ask, when you received the initial, allegation, did you take it to our town attorney or talk to, is it, but did you make them, 'cause I guess that, and it's probably very different, but I had looked into like if I as an individual on the board were to be sued for whatever reason for my role as the board, I was told that the town, like the town attorney is the first person to like kind of go to, and then they will say whether they would be able to represent you or whether you need to go seek outside or what, what the next steps would be. Right. I guess I understand that, but then that same logic applies with the, like, you are acting on behalf of the town though, as our judge. And which is why you're here, asking for the funds, because it is out, it's something that is a cost directly associated with your role. And so I understand that. I was just wondering, like, because like for us, like it's, most of the time it's like a bill comes up and we vote or we talk about it beforehand. It's not so much a retroactive as a, okay, this is coming up or this is something, and I know that you can't. Right, right, but, knowing like, okay, this is a recommendation, it's within my role, as town judge. I've been recommended to go seek legal counsel, is something that could be covered by by the town for these expenses or, something like that at that point in time, I guess, but we can't go backwards.
You had stepped above yourself by contacting the guiding judge for the 8th district.
Right.
So you followed your procedure as outlined to you.
Did he make any recommendations as far as like, who is responsible for covering this cost? Could we get that in writing? Could you ask him to, and if there's any other cases that he knows of where the town, where the town has covered this type of cost after the fact, because it's also, right. I guess that would just help.
It would help us as far as if this ever comes up again, and they give us paperwork to show this was the next step, and it is the town's responsibility as the judge that's over you, specific recommendation, and especially if there's other court situations that this has happened before, if you can bring up one or two, that would help.
Right.
Since I was sitting out, I was in the room. It's a list. We want to see the students.
And this isn't insurance wise, this isn't something that could be covered by our insurance, because it's like, it's not, his case was dismissed, he was not found guilty. It was in the service to the town. I guess I'm just wondering if there's, alternative ways to do this, but I do want to be careful about setting precedent. And if we were to pay, making sure that we set clear guidelines and for the future, as far as like, if something happens and you're interested in the town potentially covering the cost, this is what needs to, for any elected official or any, municipal employee, so that we can make sure that we're not, attorney bills can very, very quickly add up. And I don't want to put the town in a position where we set this precedence and then, I don't know.
That's why I was wondering if, you have an association of town lawyers or an association of town lawyers, or when you sound justice, yes. County associations. Perfect. Do they have any, insurance fund or something to handle them. Shit. I would say that should
Yeah,
have insurance, insurance, professional insurance that
Yeah.
everybody should pay into, and that's the town would say, okay, we have to pay.
And as I point out, I had contacted on behalf of Association of Towns and NYMIR, our insurance company. Their statement was because the person was not looking for a financial gain, and this was after the fact, they didn't feel that there was justification to reimburse.
But if
But through
we,
any, I'm just saying, through
Right, right.
Association Towns and NYMIR.
right, I'm just wondering though, if we have like the higher up, if we have, so that's their opinion.
Correct.
And so if we were to have, say, the judge that you went to, your higher up, document that this was his recommendation and this is why he recommended it. And then, so that it's not like you just went out on your own accord and was like, hey, this was the recommendation that was made to you. And that then we can, submit that to NYMER and say, this is our town justice acting in his roles as town justice, incurring a direct, a suit directly in regards to his work, and his, superior mentor, made this recommendation to him, despite the fact, because it doesn't matter if there's financial, there's still ramifications and costs to you, no matter what way this went. And so I guess that's I would like to argue it to NYMER, like we have this insurance, and just because it's not financial, that that would be the route that I would like to.
And is there any recourse against the person that came against you? Legally? No?
Ah.
Really? It's like so many things. People that think that you
Yeah.
Anyone who is responsible. I know they're not. Not talking.
so many people in society condition to be given. And so because they're on some of the no, the truly doesn't.
And I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's awful.
Well, it's not good enough. Whatever.
I think we should follow up with what Perry was saying, run it through our insurance, if nothing more, and also to the judicial society. You need to come up with something, but it's insurance company.
Or-
As far as your case, if you could get the documentation from your superior, as far as the judge, that would help immensely, as far as, in my opinion, on this board stuff. If you,
Right. We would just have to make sure that we did that, though, that we like clarified that this is what we're doing and that this is, right, right. It, there was something that just went in and out, in and out, but, I'll have to think. Do you or Maureen, have you heard of any, judicial, professional judicialism, or I don't know, if that's the wrong term, but insurance that is out there? Something that we could, because like you said, I do think that this is something that unfortunately probably will happen again. Yeah.
Thanks. Indemnification. Look up the meaning. It's we are all we are employees. So if someone sues us or causes us money or whatever, the town, we are indemnified. It protects us.
I know all of us elected and appointed officials of the town, yes. But I don't know about the separation here between the judicial system and
Well,
the town
it's
itself.
up-
I don't know.
As I said to Maureen, I said that Bridget needs to give us a defined definition of that word.
Yeah.
I was
Right, I was
Yeah. Google says it's a corporation. We are a corporation.
So I do think that there are levels, because if someone is sued and then they go out and hire someone and run up a bill that's,
Whatever.
like there are limitations, it's not a full blank slate, like here's a blank check. And so I guess that's where I do think that, there's just a lot more work that we need to do with this and to try and figure it out and protect ourselves and see what we can do. Thank you. I'm sorry that you had to go through that. Yeah.
That's what surprised me when I called AOT and I called Nightmare. I thought at least the insurance company. They, number one, if they had known up front, they said would have been a different story. Well, as he pointed out, it was at the start of COVID. So everything, they had record of this for 2 years, as he pointed out, before he even found out.
And if he And I guess this is something too, that anytime any type of case comes, even if you're going to seek outside counsel, that it still needs to go through our town attorney. Like people still need to be aware of what's going on, so that then we can document, like, yep, this was a known thing. We were told, yeah. But again, if we have like a policy or procedure, it'll allow that to, then anybody who's elected or any new employees can be aware of it.
Downside of
Yeah.
Take that risk,
Why would you?
especially in today's world.
This was the first time I had heard from him that the eighth district judge said that the town should reimburse. Because when I spoke to him a couple times in the past, he never brought that up. So that was the first time. So I got a feeling he's had another conversation.
Yeah.
So hearing that, like you said, Dave, I want to see that paper. I want to see it in.
Give me something so we can go, okay.
Yep.
It is.
And then I think too that we can submit all of that to the insurance, even if they deny it, at least we
Right.
can try, you know,
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, so.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt.
Glad he came in tonight.
I don't know if you maybe could email it out. It doesn't need to necessarily, but the amount of the bill. That was something,
Okay.
I know,
Is it?
I think that we talked about it,
Like
but during the
they're next.
attorney. Oh, I'm not. I will check right now.
I got it all. I see the mics are working fine. It's streaming. All I gotta do is hit the red button to stop streaming. Cameras are up. According to this, everything is working.
It popped up for me.
Did it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's tonight's. It's live.
Okay. Couple questions I gotta send to Shelby already. Anything else in looking this over?
I did.
We have about roughly 10 minutes and then we gotta move on.
I had a couple of questions that I know, actually for Dale. The, hold on, I gotta pull it back up. That's why,
We talked about the budget,
back to budget. For, your budget, one of the revenues, so snow
DA
removal,
what?
sorry, DA 2302.0000000. It's
Snow
the,
removal service.
yes.
Okay.
Yep, the third one down. So in the past, we've always estimated or had a revenue in there of over $100,000, and this year we don't have anything in there.
It's free?
Yeah.
No, it's a
Pretty
revenue. We want it to be. We want there to be numbers in there.
If you take a look at A under the town, A 3589, that's where it was moved to as per the state comptroller's office. That is A 3589.
I'm not seeing an A35 here.
Neither am I.
No, that's the note I've got. I'm sorry. Wait a minute. Yeah, DA 2302. DA 20. Now let me finish. DA 2302 is moved to, well, maybe, let's see.
Is it the,
Yeah.
there's a state aid other transportation that now has
State,
115,000.
that's it right there. That's
What's
it.
the
I'm
number?
sorry.
Yeah.
In my note, I have just A. I
Yeah.
don't have DA. 89. Yep.
Okay. Okay, that makes me feel a lot better.
Oh,
Cause I went, wait a minute, let's. And it was moved like that.
State comptroller's office.
Okay, that's fine. It's just good. I'm glad we figured it.
Did they mention why?
They just say,
They don't.
they don't care. These are the budget lines. This is where you put specific monies. And then all of a sudden they'll just flip flop to another budget line or create.
Yep.
a budget. We can't create budget lines.
Right.
They're all
State-
controlled by the state.
That came from Shelby.
Okay, so I've got another one for you, and I think that I understand the answer to this, but I want to just verify because I believe it's what we talked about at last month's meeting. The CHIPS capital outlay, which is DA 0.5112.2000000, CHIPS capital outlay. That normally is in, it's equivalent to the CHIPS up top. And however, this time it's $28,932. However, machinery and equipment is at the 360,000. So that's what we were talking about using those funds. And I just wanted to make sure, and it's because it's not capital outlay, it's because it's equipment purchases, but it's still those CHIPS funds that we're anticipating using. Okay, I just wanted to make sure, because all of a sudden it's like, oh, that's a a big jump and a big drop.
Chips, need a bar for equipment. So
Should that be listed out as CHIPS equipment? Should that be its, or it's, if Shelby says it's okay, umbrella? Okay. Okay, so should this be then, instead of it being where it's in machinery and equipment, should it be left in the CHIPS up top? Because to me, it seems like that would be as a resident, I would be like concerned, like I guess I would prefer to be able to say, oh yep, there's our CHIPS up top, $358,000. There's our CHIPS capital outlay. Yep, that's lines up with what, and then when we're doing the, purchases, it also would still be under that CHIPS. What the
If you
state,
take
what
a
Shelby
look-
recommend. Right.
the way she put it in the budget,
Right.
no, we explained to her how we're gonna do it.
Right.
Mhm.
I guess Sean, if you don't mind just double checking on that one.
Or you just soon keep the money rather than putting it into 5130.2, remaining in 5112.2.
Yeah, and if she says no, I'm okay with it. I just, I guess if just
just looks-
reasoning, yeah,
Well,
yeah,
And I had the same question for Sean. He sat down and went over a few things, clarification on things. And I had the same question.
yeah,
Where did it go?
right,
You know?
right. All of a sudden, it's one of those like,
If she could give us an explanation.
Right.
I don't have a problem.
but those types of number changes is what raises a lot of
Yeah.
eyebrows and a
No,
lot of
yeah.
questions.
That's-
Okay, and then there was snow removal town services. The tentative budget went down by like $8,000. And I guess I didn't expect that to go down, so I was just curious.
Well, if you look at last year's, you're at 82,000.
I don't have
Yeah,
22?
22. Let's see here.
2.5.
I have that was
You're looking
yeah.
at- Let's
Sorry.
all look in the same one.
Yep.
DA 5142,100
Yes.
and 22. Total expense was 82,005.
Yep.
Now,
I guess I don't because we don't have what we've used so far this year. Like I'm seeing
Okay.
92,255 is what we
Okay.
budgeted. So I just it was just a decrease of a relatively significant amount, and I
Yeah.
just thought I would check on that.
what line are you looking at? Okay.
thank you.
Those weren't that bad.
an appropriation?
It's the RTO Communications
Revenues.
lease agreement. That's the lease agreement for the cell dishes that are on the water tower.
We,
Well, once again, that was Shelby said it had to go there because they are renting space from us. It's gonna increase. Plus, like all the other deals that we have worked with other contractors, there's a 2% escalation clause each year. Right now, that's supposed to be $500 a month. We haven't, I think we just received our first payment this year from them. But it's $500 a month. And therefore, that's what, $6,000 a year. Because we hadn't received any money and was still in question, that's why the 3,000 was put down. Okay, but it should be $6,000 a year, so another $3,000 will be coming into our coffers.
I have another question on the revenues. It's in regards to the AIM related payments, AA 2750. And then also AA 3001 state aid revenue sharing. So I think that those all are the same thing possibly, because in 2021, we have it estimated, or we have that we received 12,486 on the AA 2750 line. And then in 2022, it dropped down to the 3,000, the AA 3001 line, and it's the exact same amount that we actually received. And then in 2023, we budgeted 12,000 and it's back up to that 2750 line. And then this year, the tentative budget has it back down on that 3001 line. And I guess I just am wondering why there are two lines and why it's every other year hopping back and forth.
I don't know, I can't answer that. That's what Shelby had stated, that I don't know if it's the state saying that's where it's got to go or what the story is. But that was, I have here in my notes that the 2750 had been moved down or back to the 3001, which is what you just pointed out there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just wondering if we can just, because like, again, people are looking through, or if she can give us a reasoning for that, because every other year hopping back and forth is not ideal.
Okay. Put a note on my. Okay, it's 3 minutes to 7. I'm gonna call this workshop to a close so I can shut down and start this all over. Go ahead, take a short break, everybody. Just mute.